Multiplying natural numbers.
Welcome to Mark's Math Methods.
The key to multiplying natural numbers is knowing your basic math facts, in other words, multiplying single digits, your multiplication times tables, and then keeping your columns straight. Example 1, 23 multiplied by 64. Well, you could write that as, and here's a notation alert, there's many multiple ways to write this. Okay, so there are several ways to write some problems or questions. In this case, you could put them next to each other with parentheses, reversing the order. You could put a multiplication dot between the two, reversing the order, or you could stack them, which is how we're actually going to do it.
So I'll use this arrangement, 23 on top times 64 on the bottom. First we multiply by the 4. The 4 is on the bottom. It's the far right. That's where we'll start. So 4 times 3 is 12. We put the 2 underneath the 4, and we carry the 1. Then we do the 4 times the 2, which is the next number over, which is 8, and then we add the thing we carried, which gives us the 9.
So now we're moving over to the 6. We did all the 4. Now we're going to do the 6. But the 6 is in the tens column. So we're going to start putting our numbers in the tens column so we don't get messed up. We're going to use a placeholder. We're going to put an X in the ones position so that we don't accidentally put a number in there. This is talking about keeping our columns lined up. Since the 6 is in the tens, after we do our multiplication, we have to start underneath the 6. So then we do 6 times 3, which gives us 18. So we put the 18, the 8 of the 18, and then carry the 1. Now we do the 6 times the 2, which gives us 12, plus the 1 gives us 13. And now we put that to the left of the 8. Finally, we get to add our columns. First, the placeholder disappears. Some people use a 0, some people use an X, some people use a blank. I'm using an X just to help us keep track of where things are. So the 2 comes straight down. 9 plus 8 is 17. So we're going to write the 7 down and carry the 1. And then 3 plus the 1, the carry, the 1, gives us the 4. And then the 1 comes down. So our answer is 1,472. So 23 times 64 is 1,472. So placeholder and columns. Everything's got to be lined up. Let's switch it up and see if it's any different. If I reverse the positions of the 23 and the 64, does it make a difference? So we multiply by the 3 times the 4 gives us 12. So we put down the 2 and carry the 1. 6 times 3 is 18 plus 1 is 19. And we write down the 19. Then we move over to the 2. Again, because the 2 is in the tens position, I'm going to put an X, a placeholder, in the ones position. So 2 times the 4 gives us 8. We put down the 8. 2 times the 6 gives us 12. We write down the 12. And now we add. Placeholder's not really there. The 2 comes down. 9 plus 8 is 17. We write down the 7, carry the 1. 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4. And the 1 comes down. Woohoo! Same answer. So it didn't matter which way we wrote it. 23 on top or 64 on top. Okay, here's your theory alert. Multiplication is commutative. Example, 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times 2. So the order in which we write multiplication doesn't matter. Example 2, 528 multiplied by 207. So I write it this way. We start by multiplying with the 7. 7 times 8 is 56. We put down the 6 and carry the 5. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 5 is 19. So we put down the 9 and carry the 1. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 1 gives us 36. So we write down the 36. So we've done the 7 times all 3. Now we're going to move to the 0. And again, because 0 is in the tens position, I'm going to put a placeholder in the ones position. 8 times 0 is 0, so I put a 0. 0 times 2 is 0, so I put a 0. 0 times 5 is 0, so I put a 0. That was an easy row. Okay, now we move over to the 2. Again, now the 2 is in the hundreds position, so I'm going to put placeholders in the ones and tens columns. 2 times 8 is 16. Write the 6, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus the 1 is 5. So I put down the 5. And then 2 times 5 is 10. So I write down the 10. And now we get to add. Sometimes it helps to line these up. People use lined paper and they just turn it sideways and use the lined paper as their columns. Or if you write really neat, you probably don't need to do that. But really, columns is the key. So the placeholders go away. 6 comes down. 9 plus 0 is 9. 6 plus 6 is 12. Put down the 2, carry the 1. 5 plus 3 plus the 1 gives us 9. 0 comes down. The 1 comes down. So it's 109,296. Notice I put a comma in here. It's got 5 or more digits, so we put a comma every 3 digits starting from the right.
I hope the presentation was helpful. Thumbs up, subscribe, comment. And if you have any problem types you'd like me to demonstrate, there's my address.